In a matter of moments, when all is said and done and they have the national anthem, the rain delay will be just about 1 hour. The rain has completely stopped. Still some clouds overhead, and as we mentioned, the forecast that we heard about a half an hour ago was that there was another smaller band of thunderstorms in the area that was going to come through behind the one we already had, so we could have another stoppage in play or two before the night is through, but they do anticipate being able to play this one, and a lot of anticipation in the crowd here tonight. We saw a tremendous fan response to Ken Griffey Jr. throughout last night's game. The Mariners come from behind 4-3 extra inning win over the Red Sox. He received a tremendous hand when the starting lineups were announced here prior to tonight's game. And as we said about an hour ago, added attraction tonight, the major league debut of 18-year-old Alex Rodriguez, who is the youngest player in the majors, called up from Double-A Jacksonville yesterday, the first pick in the entire draft in 1993, is now a teammate of Ken Griffey Jr.
Ken Griffey starting at a little bit older age than Rodriguez. His first time out in the major leagues. He opened his professional career against the Oakland Athletics in Oakland, starting the season with Dave Stewart on the mound. As a matter of fact, he was asked by a couple of Seattle reporters if he was nervous prior to the game. He said, the only time I was nervous is when they announced the starting lineups. How you got to go out and stand up along the lines. He says, I was nervous then. His first at bat off Stewart, a ringing double to left center that hit the base of the wall. He returned to Seattle on the home opener about 3 days later, facing Eric King. And the first at bat in Kingdome as a member of the Seattle Mariners, into the second deck with his first home run. So I'm not sure that's going to happen for Rodriguez tonight. A lot of people tell me that he was a little overmatched in spring training at the plate, which is, I mean, that's not hard to understand at all, but certainly he's not overmatched, and he can be on an equal with anybody carrying that glove and ranging his way around shortstop.
The umpires are just now coming onto the field and exchanging the lineup cards at home plate. The umpires working the ball game tonight. Jim Joyce will call the balls and strikes, with Ed Hickox at first base, Matt Winans at second, and the crew chief Jim McKean at third. Tough loss for the Red Sox last night in game one of this series. Aaron Seeley pitched beautifully and left the ball game after 8 innings with a 3-1 lead. Seeley had been hit by a comebacker earlier in the game, and his leg cramped up on him. He was not able to take the field for the ninth. Butch Hobson went to the man who's now his closer, Ken Ryan, and Ryan, one of the few times this season, did not get the job done. Gave up 2 in the ninth, tie it, and the Red Sox lost it when the Mariners scored a run in the 10th. Third straight loss for Butch Hobson and the Red Sox, who now stand at 40-43. That's the low watermark for the season, 3 games below 500. They're in third place in the American League East, 9.5 games behind first place New York, and 8 games behind the second place Orioles, who are now only a game and a half behind the Yankees. Meanwhile, the Mariners snapped a 4-game losing streak with their win in game 1 of the series last night. They come in at 36-48, 12 games under the 500 mark, but only 5 games behind Texas in the American League West, and 2 games behind second place Oakland. Their picture brightening with the win last night. Brian Turang leads off in left field. Felix Fermin is the second baseman. Ken Griffey Jr. bats third in center field. Edgar Martinez, the cleanup hitter and third baseman. Mike Blowers is at first base, batting fifth. The right fielder is Keith Mitchell, batting sixth. Batting seventh, and the DH tonight, Mark Newfield. Bill Hasselman is the catcher, hitting eighth. And the shortstop, 18 years, 11 months old, Alex Rodriguez, makes his major league debut. The Mariners will have lefty Dave Fleming on the mound, and for the Red Sox, it's southpaw Chris Nabholz.
Second start for the left-hander in the Red Sox uniform, 0-2 on the year. One of those losses coming while in a Cleveland Indian uniform. Chris, in his last start here, giving up 5 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings of work on 7 hits. And to say his welcome into Fenway Park wasn't all that great. He'll have a tough time tonight. This Seattle ball club, very tough on left-handers. They are 18-9 on the year, and left-handers really don't neutralize Ken Griffey. He's at well over 300 against them.
Red Sox had climbed as high as 4th in the league in defense. They're now back down to 7th with a recent rough stretch of play in the field. Tom Berdansky in left. Lee Tinsley is in center. Wes Chamberlain in right. Scott Cooper, the third baseman. John Valentin at short. Scott Fletcher at second. Tim Naring is at first, making his second major league start at first base. And Rich Rowland is the battery mate of Chris Nabholz. Mo Vaughn, Mike Greenwell, and Otis Nixon are all ailing, and all are out of the starting lineup tonight. Brian Turang, one of the heroes of last night's game for the Mariners, the leadoff hitter, takes a strike. The rain delay, an hour and 3 minutes. 68 degrees the game time temperature. A little bit on the humid side here. Very little breeze to speak of as the ball game begins. Breaking ball missed. Turang's only appeared in 32 games. He's been up 99 times with 19 hits. But he had 3 hits last night. And the game-winning RBI in the 10th inning. He looped a single in the shallow center. Slowly to short, corralled by Valentin, and Tim Naring digs it out of the dirt. Naring played very well at first base last night in his first major league start at that position. He made a couple of outstanding plays and handled all of the routine plays routinely. He was lifted for Mo Vaughn as a defensive replacement late in the game. Mo couldn't come up with a chopper down to first. It was a key play in the 9th inning rally for the Mariners that forced extra innings. Mo bothered by a leg muscle injury and not in the starting lineup tonight. Felix Fermin, as Monty said, now with the arrival of Rodriguez, Fermin likely to be the second baseman. He's seen most of the action at short. Known as a steady glove man, he's had a surprisingly good year with the bat, hitting .327 in his first season with the M's. A homer and 24 runs batted in for the Cat.
He'll get the bat on the ball almost every plate appearance. He rarely strikes out. Lou Piniella and the Mariners are having an awful time with their middle infield. Rich Amaral had made a total of 14 errors, 11 of those as a second baseman, and they just felt it was time to try to see if they could fix that. Felix has played second base in the major leagues in the past. Not an awful lot. They were out here this afternoon about 3:15 with him and a couple of the coaches, Sam Palazzo, helping them figure out how to just get the footing right around the bag. Kind of a refresher course, I think, more than anything else. But you're right, a solid glove man.
And he draws a walk. A one-out base runner for the Mariners in the first. And you can sense the anticipation in the crowd as Ken Griffey Jr. digs in. He is the major league leader with 33 home runs. He has driven in 68. That has him in the 9th spot in the American League. And at .326, he's just out of the top 10. As a matter of fact, Fermin, the man at first, is 10th in the American League in batting average at .327. Another nice play by Naring, who had the lunge for the errant toss to first from Nabholz.
Certainly doesn't look like Naring has played only one game over at first. He was very good over there last night, and here saving a wild throw and a base advancement. Now he acts like a catcher to take a throw that's low.
Nabholz suddenly overcome by Matt Young syndrome. And Naring managed to smile about it. I understand why Nabholz wouldn't be in any great hurry to throw a pitch to young Mr. Griffey. The home run last night into the screen and left, the line drive home run off Aaron Seeley, ended an 11-game homerless drought. Ken Griffey Jr. broke Babe Ruth's major league record for the most home runs by June 30th. He had 32 on June 30th, and he has a base hit. Looping line drive in the left Fermin stops at second, and the Mariners threaten with first and second. And one out in the first inning.
Well, former Red Sox coach and present Mariner coach John McLaren working with Griffey yesterday. Came in here, took about 15 or 20 minutes of batting practice, and all he did that whole time was work on hitting the ball into the opposite field. That was to help him stay in a little more with his right shoulder. Well, you know what he's done now since then? 3 base hits to left field in this series already. A homer and a double last night, and now this little cue shot over to left field here, dumping it in front of Tom Bernansky. Barron said he's one of the few guys I've seen practice something prior to the game and then take it right into the game with him.
Edgar Martinez is the batter. Hampered by injuries at the start of the season, he's appeared in only 61 of the Mariners' 84 games prior to tonight. As usual, he's right up around the 300 mark at 298 with 8 homers and 32 runs batted in. The runners go to throw to third, out at third. Fermin can't believe the call. And Sam Perlazo, the third base coach, jumped in between. And here comes Lou Piniella.
I think it was safe.
I'm with you on that one.
Roland did a good job of getting rid of the throw, and it was certainly a well thrown ball on the target, but I just don't think it was there in time. Looked like the left leg is there. The tag coming up around the knee area on Fermin, and
he looked like
livid.
He tagged him on the back leg.
Yeah. Fermin possibly from that angle where McKean saw it. He was blocked from where the actual tag took place. The Red Sox catch a break, and a big one possibly.
Interesting strategy as well by Piniella. There he has Fermin already in scoring position. Felix is not a speedy guy. He's only stolen 1 base all year. To have Fermin try to steal third with his cleanup hitter up there. A good contact man like Martinez. Certainly a risky strategy, and a big break for Nabholz and the Red Sox.
It might have been that Fermin was off to the races on his own there.
Ball 4 low. So Nabholz has walked 2 here in the first.
Number 16.
First and second and 2 outs.
Playing first base,
Mike Blowers, who was the starting left fielder last night. Ordinarily a third baseman, playing first base tonight. Batting .267 for the season with 6 homers and 36 runs batted in. Blowers, one of the hottest Seattle hitters, batting .391 over his last 15 games, and for the season hitting .400 with men in scoring position. There is no score, but the Mariners have Ken Griffey Jr. at second base and Edgar Martinez at first. With 2 outs, the 0-1 pitch to Blowers, fly ball to right at Chamberlain, and that ends the inning. Seattle strands 2. They might have run themselves out of a potentially big inning. After a half inning, no score. For the Red Sox tonight, Scott Fletcher leads off at second base. Tim Naehring is the first baseman hitting second. John Valentin, the shortstop, bats third. The cleanup hitters, the DH Andre Dawson. Tom Brunansky is in left field batting fifth. Wes Chamberlain is in right and batting sixth. The third baseman Scott Cooper hits seventh. Rich Rowland is doing the catching and batting eighth. And center fielder Lee Tinsley hits ninth against left-hander Dave Fleming.
John Fleming's been having a difficult time getting the ball down in the strike zone this year. Consequently, that high number of losses and the high earned run average. If you look at that innings pitch, which will be coming your way in just a second, against the number of hits, 112 hits in 87 innings. Add that together with the base on balls, 160 runners he has put on in just 87 innings. That'll work out usually to about a 6-10 record and a very high earned run average. Also, by being up in the strike zone, the home run ball has hurt Fleming. He's given up 15 round trippers.
And the defense has hurt him as well. The Mariners were the best fielding team in the majors last year. This season they are 12th in the American League. They have Brian Turang in left, Ken Griffey Jr. in center, Keith Mitchell in right. Edgar Martinez is the third baseman, Alex Rodriguez at short, Felix Fermin at second, Mike Blowers at first, and Bill Hasselman is behind the plate. Mariners threatened but did not score in the top of the first. Here's Scott Fletcher to lead off. His average is dipped down to 216. 2 homers and 8 runs batted in for Fletcher. First pitch of the night from Fleming, a ball outside. Otis Nixon still bothered by back spasms. He is not in the lineup tonight. Mike Greenwell had an MRI on his shoulder yesterday, and he's still a little bit sore, and Fletcher has a hit. Trying to get into the gap in right center. Griffey on the wet outfield grass got to it quickly and got it in quickly, holding Fletcher to a long opposite field single.
Of course, Griffey all this season has been praised for his hitting side of the game, but don't be fooled. He can do some fine glove work for you. He'll utilize his speed here to quickly get in that gap in right center field, cut off this potential extra base hit off the bat of Fletcher. Griffey with 7 outfield assists, so you don't take too many chances running on his arm. The kid.
That's the first hit for Fletcher since July 2nd. He had been 0 for 19 prior to that hit. Now Nearing. Tim took a strike. He's batting .287 in 51 games for the Red Sox. 6 homers and 32 runs batted in. Had a very brief rehab stint at Pawtucket, coming back from the sprained right ankle. Appeared in 4 games for the Paw Sox. Said his ankle has felt fine, but his legs have been a little bit sore. Not accustomed to playing 9 innings. He's quickly in the hole, 0-2.
Once again, Sean showing the importance for his presence on this ball club, all the different positions he can play. And we're watching him play first last night. He plays them all pretty well.
And he strikes out. Couldn't get to the high pitch from Fleming. Nearing gone on 3 pitches. First strikeout of the night for Fleming.
Fleming walks about as many as he strikes out. As a matter of fact, 1 more strikeout now than base on balls as Nearing chases the pitch up high. Certainly can't blame Nearing for swinging and missing that one. Certainly not can blame him for swinging at it. Very hittable pitch over there, even though it might have been out of the strike zone.
John Valentin is the hitter at .326. And that average has John just out of the top 10 in the league in hitting. 5 homers and 26 runs batted in. 1 for 3 with a double in last night's series opener. That extended his hitting streak to 7 games. Ball 1 outside. No score. We're in the bottom of the first. Ball game delayed at the start by rain for an hour and 3 minutes. Fletcher is running. Valentin slaps it to second to Fermin, who throws him out. The hit and run was on, and Valentin had to chase a pitch that wasn't ideal. Fletcher to second with 2 down.
Number 10.
A more strange strategy here. Hit and run with your third batter up there. That's a little bit unusual that you almost take the bat out of Valentin's hand when you're asking him to play hit and run, but it was on, and Fletcher winds up in scoring position, albeit 2 outs.
And Andre Dawson is the hitter. Strike. He's at 253 with 15 home runs and 43 runs batted in. He went 0 for 3 last night. Randy Johnson was tough on the Red Sox in last night's game, but the Red Sox had him beat. Couldn't finish the job in the ninth. Some of the scouts down below last night consistently had Randy Johnson on their radar guns at 97 miles per hour with the fastball. Even in the late innings, he was still registering 97. There's Johnson. Check swing. They wanted to appeal down to first. So far, the appeal has not been granted. 2 balls and a strike on Dawson. Surprisingly tough year for Fleming at 6-10, given that in his brief major league career he's well above 500 pitcher. 36-24 lifetime in 85 major league games. Matter of fact, he's already the 5th winningest left-handed pitcher in Mariners team history. The only lefties with one more for Seattle, Mark Langston with 74 wins, Randy Johnson 73. Fellow by the name of Matt Young, who won 45, and Floyd Bannister 40. 36 wins already for Fleming. Dawson to right. Right at Keith Mitchell, and that ends the inning. After 1, no score.
Are ready for the TV 38 Pepsi Home Run All-Star Sweepstakes coming up here on Sunday. We're going to be drawing it. We've got our, actually that's a rain jacket I have on, so it was kind of appropriate for tonight, wasn't it? But it was also it's a cool weather jacket.
Yes, it is. No cool weather here tonight. Did have some rain that held up the start of the game by 1 hour and 3 minutes. No score after 1 inning. Keith Mitchell, the leadoff batter. The right fielder stands in, hitting .250 with 5 homers and 15 runs batted in. Mitchell, Newfield, and Hasselman coming up against Nabholz, who had controlled trouble in the first. Chris walked 2. And was helped along by a caught stealing of Felix Fermin, who tried to swipe third. Check swing, foul ball. Rolled an acrobatic play to quickly shed the mask and grab it up above his head, but it was behind the plate. 2 balls and a strike.
Rich Rowland trying to get that easy quick out for his pitcher. Couldn't get that ball back into fair territory though.
It was very close,
swing.
wasn't
Yes,
it?
sir. Certainly was. Tim Joyce, plate umpire, right there with the call.
Bounce down to third to Scott Cooper. 1 out.
Well, you saw that shot just a moment ago back in the first inning of Seeley, Vaughn, and Clemens all in a row in the Red Sox dugout, all of them with sore legs. Mo Vaughn hampered with a groin injury, he's telling me now, that's bothering him. Of course, Clemens will not be making his start as scheduled tomorrow. Will not work anymore until after the All-Star break. He'll probably pitch Thursday in Oakland. And Aaron Seeley got nailed last night.
Yes, he did, by a comebacker off the knee. There's Roger. Sergio Valdez will start in Rogers' place tomorrow. Chris Howard will likely be available for relief duty. Mark Newfield, the batter. He scored the winning run last night. Doubled in the 10th inning and scored on the single by Terang. That's foul. Oh, now Tim told me before the game tonight that he was 15 for 15 for the year.
So long perfection.
Yeah, oh boy, and you can see the disappointment written all over his face as he slouches up. Oh,
yeah,
the
right.
shame of it all.
He's uncomfortable. His pant legs are all wet from pulling the tarp on and off. So he probably did, well, maybe he slipped coming out of the box there.
But, you know, I'll see him tomorrow. He'll say, I'm 18 for 18 for the year. As we mentioned, he and Raffy have been platooning down there. And they've gone to Hollywood. Tim actually had a press release that he gave me the other day with he's 22 years old. He's a student at Boston College. He's from San Antonio, Texas, plays rugby at BC. So they know now that they are frequently in our TV 38 spotlight.
He's grinding down there right now.
He's just can't put it behind him. And he's got to hold up. It's early in the game.
Right.
He's got to hold his head high and get ready to make more plays. Now, that fielding percentage could really take a beating. Valentin couldn't get it under his glove and threw in the left for Newfield. So he's aboard with one out on the second Seattle hit of the ball game.
Newfield hits it hard, and it's directly in the hole at shortstop. John Valentin is all out to his right as he can go and just goes underneath his glove. Newfield picks up the base hit. Newfield not seeing an awful lot of time. He's been up and down with this Seattle ball club this year.
Now the catcher, Bill Hasselman. He hasn't played much this year. Dan Wilson, ordinarily the starting catcher. Hasselman looked at a strike. He's been up 80 times with 16 hits, including a homer and 8 runs batted in. His last start was on July 2nd at New York. Tonight is his 21st start of the season behind the plate. He's also been the DH in one game this year for the Mariners. There is no score. We're in the second. Breaking ball up and away from Nabholz. Slashing swing and a foul back to the screen. Of course, Hasselman made headlines last year. He was at the center of that brawl with the Baltimore Orioles, the ugliest bench clearing brawl that we've seen in a long time in Major League Baseball, and was in that brawl that Mike Mussina was injured, and he wasn't the same the rest of the year. Down to third with Hasselman running. They should get 2, and they do. 5-4-3. Cooper, Fletcher, and Naring, and that ends the inning. After an inning and a half at Fenway Park, there is no score. Sean McDonough with Bob Montgomery, our producer director John Wilson. Happy to have you with us for game 2 of this 4-game series between the Red Sox and the Seattle Mariners that will bring an end to the unofficial first half of the Major League season. Season is actually past the midway point. The Red Sox have played 83 games in the 162 game schedule. But the All-Star break is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The All-Star game Tuesday night in Pittsburgh. Tom Brunansky, the leadoff hitter, against Dave Fleming. No scores. Boston bats in the second. Brunansky at .258 overall and hitting .277 since he joined the Red Sox, appearing in his 19th game for Boston. He's hit 5 homers and he's driven in 16 runs in his first 18 games. Brunansky, then Chamberlain and Cooper due up against Fleming. Off-speed pitch. Quite a bit off speed, in fact, and it was high. 2-1.
If this had been right into the strike zone, they would refer to this pitch as the slop drop. Didn't quite drop far enough.
Three balls and a strike. Big swing by Brunansky, and the count is full.
Upstairs with the fastball from Fleming, and Bernansky trying to get on top. Pretty big swing by Bernansky. This time Fleming faced the Red Sox this year back on May the 3rd. The Red Sox were 2.5 games in first place.
And he walked him. Well, for the second time in as many innings to open the ball game, the Red Sox have the lead man on. It's the first walk thrown by Fleming.
Matter of fact, in that Seattle series, Sean, that was a series where the Red Sox ran their record to a 20-7 mark. They beat Fleming on the opening of that 2-game series on a Tuesday night. And then Greg Hibbert lost to Danny Darwin on a Wednesday night. The 20th win of the year for the Red Sox against 7 losses.
Since the 20-7 start, the picture has changed completely for the Red Sox. Wes Chamberlain popped one foul out of play to the right. Wes had a good night last night, 2 for 4. Drove in a couple of runs, raising his average to 270. In 23 games with the Red Sox, he's hit 2 homers and has driven in 11. Wes has been in and out of action, playing behind Tom Bernansky when Greenwell was fully healthy. We shouldn't say fully healthy because he really hasn't been fully healthy all year, but when he was healthy enough to be in there every day. When Wes has played of late, he's been productive. 7 runs batted in his last 6 games. Another pop foul to the right, and the count is 0-2. Wes was a platoon player throughout his days in Philadelphia. Generally only played against left-handed pitchers. And the numbers since he's joined the Red Sox give you an indication of why. He's hit .440 against left-handed pitching since coming to Boston. He's 11 for 25 against the Southpaws. Wes was always frustrated during his time in Philadelphia. Thought he should have been an everyday player, and that given the chance, he'd hit right-handed pitchers. A ball up and in. No score, bottom of the second. Another foul ball off to the right.
Not sure exactly what's causing it, Sean. Maybe it's Ken Griffey, and I know that has a lot to do with it, but I can't find any empty seats in this park tonight. From top to bottom, bleachers all the way around. And I can't blame him for wanting to watch the kid play.
No. And they expect big crowds the next 2 days as well. Here it comes. Just over our heads. We get plenty of protection tonight should a foul ball come in the booth. We're very happy to have Jerry Rappaport Jr., his friends Jack Friel, and Clark Hill here through the. They're all off to our left. These nice gentlemen. Handsome group, aren't they?
Indeed. They are. Well, they fit right into this booth here nicely.
Yes, they, you should see, as you saw by that shot, not a lot of room in the booth, but they have managed to fit into what space we have nicely here through the generosity of Mr. Rappaport. Recent auction to benefit the Cordova Museum. We send along our wishes to our pal Greg Harney, who does a lot of work for that worthwhile cause. And we also want to send along best wishes to Jerry's nephew Joshua Rappaport, age 3, in Children's Hospital. And we hope that he is feeling well tonight, enjoying the ball game. We wish him well. A lot of folks here at the ballpark thinking about Joshua. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still the count on Chamberlain as he's fouling away pitches left and right.
I mentioned Fleming getting the ball up. He doesn't seem to be able to get one down now. See if Chamberlain would possibly chase a bouncer somewhere with some type of breaking ball, perhaps a slider, working it down and in on him.
2 balls and 2 strikes. And the fans trying to help the cause. Some of them probably just trying to dry off. Once it started raining here, it rained hard for several minutes. Base hit. Chamberlain's patience is rewarded with a single through the left side. He won a lengthy battle with Dave Fleming, and the Red Sox are in business with first and second and nobody out in the second Red Sox hit.
Trying to put hitters away, and you got them in the hole. Usually some pitches out of the strike zone downstairs might get you to chase 1 or 2, but with pitches being missed upstairs now, Fleming does make the adjustment, but the adjustment is right down in the heart of the strike zone. Chamberlain did not miss his chance to get out of that hole. Instead, he hits it through the hole into left field.
And Chamberlain, Brunansky, and Cooper all with their eyes focused on Gary Allenson. Cooper, a .289 hitter, 13 homers, 49 runs batted in. No sign of a bunt. And Cooper looked at ball 1 just in case. Martinez is even with the bag at third. Blowers playing behind the bag at first. Middle of the infield, bunching up around the second base bag at double play depth. Cooper at the plate. Rich Rowland is on deck. Fleming dropped down and missed, and that brings Hasselman out to the mound. Fleming's only 24 years old. He needed less than 2 years in the minors to make it to the major leagues. He's from Queens, New York. Broke into the big leagues with Seattle in 1991. His first full season was 92, and he had a great year. Went 17-10 and finished third in the balloting for American League Rookie of the Year, behind Pat Listash and Kenny Lofton. The 2-0 pitch. In on the hands, a little pop up. Martinez on the run near the dugout, couldn't get it. Landed right at the top step, never got very high in the air. And Martinez was risking life and limb if he made a bolder play than that to try to catch it.
Because it didn't get very high in the air, Martinez doesn't have a chance to really get himself over there and get stationed. That's a very difficult pop up to catch, running under a full head of steam headed toward the top step of a dugout.
He would have had to make a diving head first catch into his own dugout, and opted not to pursue that
good move
option.
Cooper may have hung his head for a while if he'd have made an out in that fashion after getting Fleming 2 balls and no strikes to get jammed with a pitch.
Now he turns the bunt and drops it down toward third. Fleming goes to third in plenty of time to get Brunansky. Well, it had to be a good bunt with Brunansky running. And there was no sign of a bunt through the first 3 pitches. Butch Hobson is shaking his head.
That plus the left-handed pitcher gets off the mound quickly. He doesn't have to turn around. He's looking right at the play as he picks it up, and boy, not even close at third base. Fleming off there quickly. His responsibility toward that line so that Martinez can stay back to handle the bag at third. Shaking his head because the bunt was not a better one. Certainly too close to the mound.
Well, you wonder what it was about a 2-1 count that all of a sudden triggered the decision to bunt.
Well, sometimes managers will give you one shot to get it. Cooper had the 2-0 pitch and fouled it off. That's the only thing I can think of that would have changed his mind.
So now it's first and second and 1 out for Rich Rowland, who looked at ball 1. And now ball 2. Fleming still struggling to get the ball down and continues to pitch up there. He's going to be hurt by it sooner or later. Roland hitting 169. He's been up 77 times with 13 hits, 4 of them home runs. Rich has driven in 12 runs. No score. The Red Sox are batting in the second. Now with Chamberlain at second base and Cooper at first on the fielder's choice. In the air, well hit, center field. Griffey Jr. drifts back just shy of the warning track to make the catch. And he had plenty on the throw to second. Chamberlain is back safely.
Well, the foul sacrifice bunt is a costly one now. That's certainly more than deep enough to have scored Tom Bernansky for third had he been moved along successfully. Like that ball may have got caught up just a little bit in the breeze, although the flag looked like it's going more toward the foul pole in left center field. Maybe he didn't hit that ball quite as hard as it sounded.
Breeze has picked up since the ball game began. Lee Tinsley, the batter. Lee had a good night last night, filling in for Otis Nixon. He went 1 for 3 and scored a run last night, raising his average to 182. He stole second and third in the same inning and then came in when the throw to third got by the third baseman. Manufactured his own run. He also made a couple of fine catches in center field. Weekly back to the mound. Fleming ends the inning. After 2, no score. It's tight atop the American League East. The Orioles within a game and a half now of the first place Yankees. They had moved within a half game before the Yankees won and Baltimore lost last night. Red Sox 9.5 out, 3 games under. In the Central, Chicago's played very well lately. They've closed the gap to 1 game behind Cleveland. Kansas City a solid third. In the American League West, 2 games under 500, still good for first place. Oakland is still hot. The Athletics won 5 in a row. In the National League East, Atlanta with the major's best record and just a 1-game lead over Montreal for the major's second best record. In the National League Central, it is Cincinnati in first place. Houston close behind. And in the National League West, Colorado has won 4 straight to move within 3 of first place Los Angeles. The standings brought to you by Delta Airlines. First major league at bat for Alex Rodriguez. He's beginning the third in a scoreless ball game. He's a couple of weeks shy of his 19th birthday. First pick in the entire draft in 1993. Swings at his first major league pitch. Cooper made a nice play. Scott had to play it on a tricky hop, and then it looked like he had a tough time getting a grip on the ball as he was on the move, but still kept his poise and made the play for the first out of the inning.
Number 1.
Cooper right even with the bag. Almost gets caught in that in-between bounce. The ball off the end of the bat. Almost a swinging bunt. Rodriguez off down that line. He runs well, but can't stay out of that play as Cooper throws him out. Now is saying now that we have Rodriguez, he's probably the fastest guy on our ball club.
But not fast enough then. Brian Turang took a breaking ball from Chris Nabholz. He opened the ball game with a ground ball to short. One final score from the afternoon in Major League Baseball. The Houston Astros had their 6-game winning streak snapped by the Cubs. Cooper in again. Nice play by Naring. Cooper made a fine play to barehand it and get the throw off quickly. Turang runs pretty well. And Naring, in his second major league game at first base, has played that position like a Gold Glover the last 2 nights. He made a terrific play to prevent that ball from bouncing into foul ground a long way down the right field line.
Felix Fairview.
Cooper sniffed this out. He's on a good hard charge. Bare hands. Throws low, and Naring picks it clean.
A very good athlete, Tim Naring. Has shown the ability now to play every position in the infield. Felix Fermin is the batter. He walked in the first inning. Was thrown out trying to steal third. Cooper has to field it in foul ground. I mentioned that the Cubs beat Houston today 6-5 the final, ending the Astros 6-game winning streak and ending the Cubs 4-game losing streak. They won it in 11 innings on a home run by Mark Grace. 6-5 Chicago over Houston. Sean Dunston also hit a home run for the Cubs. Luis Gonzalez and Kevin Bass went deep for Houston. Jose Bautista beat John Hudek. And the fog has come rolling in off the water with the wind out of the east. And it's rolling in a hurry. Well, we've had heavy rain. We've had sunshine here at the park prior to the game. Some wind now, and now some fog. Moment, it's really a very pleasant night. Comfortable temperature. Rain has stopped.
Night for the players. Just one of those nights where you get a little breath of fresh air after playing around a lot of heat and humidity. Kind of get a new life, a new feel of strength from the cooler air.
Monty mentioned earlier, Felix Fermin, a very tough man to strike out. Count is 2-2 now. Fermin has only whiffed 16 times all year. He's been up 272 times. He had a bullet right past Nabholz into center field. He's aboard with 2 outs in the third in a scoreless game. That's the third hit for Seattle. And again, the hand for Ken Griffey Jr. as he digs in.
Ken Griffey.
He got a standing ovation last night after his home run. Fans here in Boston showing their appreciation for his enormous talent. He's tremendously popular, particularly among young baseball fans. I thought the thing that was most amazing last night is we check his pursuit of one of the most glamorous records in all of sports, the home run record of Roger Maris. He's right on pace through 83 games. I thought the most amazing thing about last night for Griffey was the ball that he hit in the 9th inning that went for a double. A line drive to the left side of the infield. It never got more than about waist high off the ground and rolled all the way to the wall after it whizzed by the third baseman. Serious low hard heat off the bat of Griffey for that 2-base hit. Good save made, oops, by the fans down in the first base boxes. The gentleman down there was going for the foul ball and nearly came head first onto the playing field. Those behind him grabbed him literally by the seat of the pants. Ball 3-1 on Griffey. He says he's not feeling the heat, all the attention about his pursuit of the home run record. And if I didn't hit another home run all year, I'd still have 33, and that's a great year for just about everyone. That's a shot toward the 379 mark. Tinsley can't get it. It gets a long way by him. Hit the bottom of the wall and carried way back out into center field. Fermin has scored, and Griffey's into third standing. He decided to slide at the last moment. That might have cost him a chance to round the bag and head for home as the relay deflected off the glove of Fletcher, but not very far. It's a triple for Ken Griffey and a 1-0 Seattle lead.
Sean, he generates such terrific bat speed. The ball really rings when it comes off his bat, and understandably it gets where it's going in a hurry. This ball down and out over just a little bit, and right at the 379-foot mark out in left center field, this ball hits off the wall. Tinsley giving hard chase here. Almost looks like he's going to get to it. Then that ball caroms long past him way back into center field. Fermin all the way around to score from first. And the Mariners hang up a run after 2 are out in this inning.
4th triple of the season for Griffey, his 69th RBI. And he's at third with 2 outs. 1-0 Seattle. They now have 4 hits off Nabholz. The damage done with 2 outs here in the third. First two batters of the inning thrown out by Cooper, but then Fermin singled, and Griffey knocked him in with a triple. Now it's Edgar Martinez who walked in the first. Pop foul back in our direction. Breaking ball missed, and it's 1-2.
Well, Martinez doesn't hit a lot of home runs. He's been hurt a little bit lately. This cost him some playing time. He does an awful tough job, big job of covering that plate. You must keep him honest by making that kind of pitch, especially here at Fenway Park and at the Kingdome, particularly a long drive to get it out of left field there and in Seattle. It gets to the outer part of that plate easily.
Breaking ball on the back door. First strikeout of the night for Nabholz. It ends the inning, but the Mariners are on the board on the RBI triple by Ken Griffey Jr. 1-0 Seattle. League leaders are brought to you by the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. It's time we made smoking history. Frank Thomas trying to make history in this 1994 season. He has a shot at the Triple Crown. He's the league's leading hitter at .384, 3 points ahead of Paul O'Neill. He's only 2 behind Griffey for the home run lead. He's not in the top 3 in runs batted in. Thomas has 72 runs batted in. Kirby Puckett is leading the league with 79. Albert Bell, Will Clark, Joe Carter, Julio Franco at 75, and Randy Johnson, now the league leader in strikeouts by 19 over Roger Clemens. The league leader is brought to you by the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. Scott Fletcher is the batter. Top of the order for the Red Sox in the third against Dave Fleming. It's 1-0 in favor of Seattle. Fletcher started the Boston first with a single to center and was stranded at second. Red Sox have left 3 men on in the first 2 innings. Umpire Jim McKean, the crew chief, has left the field. We do not know why, but at the moment the teams are playing with 3 umpires on the field. And no umpire at second base. Matt Winans, the second base umpire, has moved down, take the spot of McKean behind third. And we received word from downstairs that McKean twisted his ankle. It was the home plate umpire Jim Joyce talking to Charlie Moss earlier. Fletcher has another hit. He broke an 0 for 19 slide with his single in the first. And now he's 2 for 2 tonight. Red Sox have had the lead runner on in every inning, but they've yet to score.
Both hits for Scott in this ball game, right up the middle and into center field. Both of them are the line drive type. First at bat for him hit just a bit sharper and more toward right center.
Here's Tim Nearing, who struck out swinging in the first. The only strikeout for Fleming to this point. Fletcher runs on the first pitch, and Hasselman's throw is in time, and Fletcher didn't like it.
Scott Fletcher had a running start. First movement, he is headed for second base. Hasselman does an excellent job here. Looked like the tag came up a bit high.
Well, he's safe. Hand is in on the base.
That's the way it looked from up here originally, but does not get the call.
Tag down around the belt with the hands out extended, outstretched toward the bag. And Fletcher is still looking out in the general direction of umpire Matt Winans. We might be out. Very close. Argument perhaps either way. Fletcher doesn't ordinarily say anything unless he's convinced he has a case. Mitchell the catch on the fly ball by Nearing.
Fermin did an excellent job of getting over there to cover that bag and quickly they drop the tag in and get it right back up again. His responsibility, of course, to cover bag from the right side. Fermin with the right-hand hitter up there. Usually the only time they would change that is, of course, they might anticipate a hit and run. You'd have the second baseman stay at home.
Another lollipop off-speed pitch from Fleming. John Valentin watched it pass by. In the next half inning, we're going to be joined by John's wife, Marie, with the Red Sox wives food drive upcoming. We'll chat with Marie about the particulars and how you can take part and help the hungry in Massachusetts. Two balls and one strike. 1-0 Seattle, bottom of the third. If you're just joining us, the game was delayed at the start by rain for just over an hour. Let's pause for station identification along the TV 38 Red Sox Network.
This is WSBK TV 38 Boston.
Off-speed pitch missed, and Valentin is aboard with 2 outs. And Jim McKean has returned to the field.
Designated hitter,
So apparently the twisted ankle
number 10,
healed itself very quickly.
Andre Dawson.
Might have received some attention from either team's medical staff. Perhaps wrapped the ankle. He was a former CFL quarterback. Andre Dawson, a swing and a miss. He flied to right in the first. Well, the Mariners put together a couple of hits with 2 outs in the top of the inning to score their run. Now the Red Sox will try to get something going with 2 down in their half of the inning. Big swing and a miss. And the Hawk is in the hole, 0-2.
Dawson, number 2 in the Red Sox team with home runs against left-handers. He has 6. Mo Vaughn leads the team with home runs against left-handers with 10. I think Dawson would really like to have the ball down a little bit lower than Fleming has been working with it tonight, for him to get up on one and get it out of here. Dawson hitting .294 against left-handers this year.
Fly ball, hooking foul. And onto the roof. Still 0-2 on Andre. Tuckett's at Rochester tonight. The Red Sox AAA farm team is losing 5-0 after 3 innings at Silver Stadium in downtown Rochester. Nate Minchie roughed up in his first start for Pawtucket since being sent down when Tim Nearing was activated. The Red Sox made another roster move today. Scott Bankhead has been activated, and Tim Van Egmond was optioned back to Pawtucket. He struck him out. Another high pitch that Dawson swung through. Second strikeout of the night for Fleming, and that ends the inning. The Red Sox have stranded 4. After 3, the Mariners 1 and the Red Sox nothing. Welcome back to Fenway Park in Boston. After 3 innings tonight, the Seattle Mariners have a 1-0 lead over the Red Sox, and we're pleased to be joined by Mrs. John Valentin, Marie Valentin. And you and the Red Sox wives would be commended, because it's an event coming up this weekend that really has become a wonderful annual event. This will be the 3rd annual Red Sox Wives Food Drive, and it's going to take place this weekend.
Yes, it is on Saturday and Sunday, July 9th and 10th, around 11:30 till 1:30. We'll all be out there helping for the donations and the food drive, and hoping you'll all come out and help us.
And as you can see, the wives would ask that you bring canned goods to the ballpark if you're coming out tomorrow or Sunday, and they also accept monetary donations. That's over the weekend, the 3rd annual food drive, sponsored by the Red Sox and the Red Sox wives. Mike Blowers is the leadoff hitter against Chris Nabholz. Who is benefiting from the food drive?
Well, most of the greater Boston area, the eastern Massachusetts, they all benefit from it. We have over 9.3 million tons of food go around for everyone, and we're just trying to bring this up a little more so everyone else can be fed also. About 6% of eastern Massachusetts is served by the Greater
Boston
Yes.
Food Bank. Scott Cooper to play to get Blowers at first. 1 out. Blowers is now 0 for 2. We're in the 4th, and the Mariners lead 1-0. We're visiting with Marie Valentin. Last year, the Red Sox wives food drive to benefit the Greater Boston Food Bank. And as Marie mentioned, it's astounding when you see that 6%, that's an awful lot of people in Massachusetts,
Yes, it is.
require assistance and are served by the Greater Boston Food Bank. But last year, through the generosity of the great Red Sox fans of New England, more than 6,700 pounds of food were collected here at the ballpark, and more than $6,500 in cash gifts also were taken in by the Red Sox wives. Keith Mitchell, the batter, he bounced to third in the 2nd. Swing and a miss for a strike. 1-1. What kinds of canned foods or goods would you recommend that the folks bring?
Well, we recommend non-perishable foods as cereals and pastas and rice. And
Who's that guy out there short? Pretty slick play for the 2nd out.
we also would like for some evaporated milk and powdered milk. They need that desperately. They don't get much of it, and they're really for it.
Now, do you get nervous when you watch your husband play? He just made a nice play. But,
Yes, I do
Is
get
that
nervous.
something that you never get over? Or
Never get over.
Does he talk about good days and bad days when he
Oh,
comes
yes,
home?
we do. Sometimes I get on him about his errors.
Well, it's been mostly good days for John this year. He's really had a terrific season. I think the folks at home might be curious as to how you met.
Well, we've been friends since we were about 12. He was playing Little League ball, and my father used to coach. And so I always used to go to the park and see my brothers play and my father coach, and we met. And we became friends, and then after high school, we started to date each other. And it was 6 long years before we got married.
Mark Newfield is the batter. We're visiting with Marie Valentin, the Red Sox wives food drive this weekend, tomorrow and Sunday. We really encourage those coming out to bring along canned goods along the lines that Marie described, and they are certainly happy to take donations as well.
Marie, are you going to be at different stations around the ballpark, or are
Yes.
you only going to be at one specific point?
No, we will all be at different stations, at different entrances along the ballpark.
Scott Fletcher, a long run, and he's there to handle the pop-up. Well, we wish you well, and as we said at the beginning, you and the rest of the Red Sox wives will be commended for this worthwhile event, and we hope it goes extremely well this weekend for you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for the visit, Marie. Marie Valentin, our guest. We head to the home half of the 4th with the Red Sox down by a run.
5th anniversary of professional baseball with an evening with the heroes. That'll be at the Boston Harbor Lights Pavilion at Fan Pier on Sunday, August 7th. See and hear your favorite baseball heroes reliving their glory days in this unique setting. Tickets may be purchased in person at all Ticketmaster outlets or at the Orpheum Theater box office, or by calling Ticketmaster at 617-931-2000. Just heard some of the names who were involved in that today on a radio commercial. Jim Rice, Jim Lonborg. What else his name did I hear mentioned in there? Frank Malzone. I'm sure be a couple. I know there'll be more Red Sox notables there. Those are just the ones that I can remember.
Well, if you come up with a few more, feel free to.
Well, I don't want to
Shout 'em out
drop
at
out
any
a
time.
name that's not going to be there. Those names I remember definitely.
Dave Fleming Working to Tom Bernansky, and he's quickly ahead of Bruno. 0-2. Bernansky walked, leading off the second. Red Sox have had the lead runner on in each of the first 3 innings, but they've been unable to score. They've left 4 men on base. They've had 3 hits, and Fleming has walked a couple. He wasted 1 outside. Bernansky, Chamberlain, and Cooper coming up. Should also mention, as part of the 3rd annual food drive put on by the Red Sox wives here over the weekend, that the wives will be signing autographs for fans who would like their autograph. They'll pose for pictures. Last year's food drive allowed the Greater Boston Food Bank to distribute more than 15,000 meals to the hungry of Greater Boston. Martinez couldn't come up with the slow roller down to 3rd base. That's the 7th error of the season for Edgar, and the 4th inning in a row in which the Red Sox have had the first man on.
Certainly the Mariners have been hurt, as we mentioned earlier, by their fielding this year. This is the 70th team era. They've led to 58 earned runs. Looked like that ball there didn't do anything really to fool Martinez. Came up off the heel of the glove and into the midsection. Bernansky is on.
It's amazing how a team can go from the best in the majors in fielding, as the Mariners were last year, to one of the worst in the majors. Only Cleveland and Texas have fared worse defensively in the American League this year than the Mariners. Cleveland's percentage identical, but the Indians made 2 more errors than the Seattle Mariners. Wes Chamberlain, big swing, very high pop up, that is drifting out of play to the left. Took forever for that one to come down. Chamberlain had a lengthy at bat in the 2nd and wound up with a single through the left side. Bottom of the 4th inning, Seattle has a 1-0 lead. The Mariners scored in the 3rd on a 2-out single by Felix Fermin, and Ken Griffey Jr. followed with a triple. Last season, the Seattle Mariners made only 90 errors all year. Here we are just past the midpoint of the season. They've made 70 errors this season. Lou Piniella, 3rd base coach Sam Perlazzo.
Likes guys named Sam, doesn't he? Sammy Ellis, Sam Mejias.
There's a coaching staff full of Sams. Chamberlain tried to check his swing of the ball in the dirt and could not. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lou Piniella was quite public in challenging the Mariners front office to call up Alex Rodriguez. They had been reluctant to do so, given that he's not yet 19. Lou Piniella said, I want to win, and I think we have a better chance of winning if this young man is here, so let's get him up here.
He told me today in his office, he said, if it doesn't work, they don't have anybody to blame but me. And he says, right at this desk, and he pointed his desk in his office, that's where it'll stop. He said, I'm responsible for him being here, and I'll go with it.
Check swing, strike 3, says Ed Hickox. No argument from Chamberlain, although he's shaking his head as if he does not agree with the call.
Number 34, Scott Cooper.
That was a swing.
I believe it was.
Three strikeouts for Fleming tonight. That's the first out of the 4th inning. And it'll bring to the plate Scott Cooper. He tried to sacrifice with men at first and second and nobody out in the second. His bunt along the third base line was fielded by Fleming, who threw out the lead runner Bernansky at third base. Cooper reached in the fielder's choice.
Scott had a chance last time to get Fleming in the hole against him. Fleming certainly lost his advantage, left-hander on left-hander, when Scott had to count 2 balls and no strikes. You can work that way again and just turn around and set on a fastball that Fleming's got to work somewhere in the strike zone. Big right, strong right-hand hitter behind Cooper.
You have to feel for Scott a little bit. His selection to the All-Star team for the second straight year was certainly overshadowed by all of the controversy surrounding the snub of Mo Vaughn by Cito Gaston. Cooper is deserving. He didn't like that call from Jim Joyce. 1-2. He and Ray Boggs are
You watch Hasselman. He's set up outside the strike zone, and then the mitt even goes farther to the left, which tells you not likely that the ball was a strike or the pitch was a strike. One thing Cooper didn't need to lose more of an advantage over a bad call. This guy was talking to me yesterday in the clubhouse. He said, I feel like I catch myself up here just a little bit lately, trying to do a little bit too much when I go to the plate. We've had some guys in and out of the lineup with various aches and pains.
Strike 3. And now Cooper has more than a word for Jim Joyce. That was certainly a better pitch than the last one.
Yeah, pretty generous strike zone here for the left-hander. I suppose if that other one had to be a strike, there's not much question. This one must have been one, but neither of them seemed to be on the plate. And from that angle there, I think it was clear that it was not.
So Fleming has struck out 3 of the last 4 Red Sox hitters. He's working into Rich Rowland, who was out on a fly ball to center field in the second. Seattle has a 1-0 lead. We're in the 4th. Breaking ball in the dirt, handled by Hasselman. Dave Fleming 2-1 lifetime against the Red Sox. 0-1 this year. Popped up. Hasselman back to the screen, makes the catch. Got a helping hand from Fleming as Hasselman appeared to be on the verge of losing his balance. So once again the Red Sox get the lead man on, and once again they cannot score. It's 1-0 Seattle. The Boston Red Sox and John Hancock invite you to take your best shot at the Green Monster so that a kid with cancer has a better shot at life. You've dreamed of hitting in Fenway Park like Ted Williams and Mo Vaughn. Now here's your chance. John Hancock Fantasy Day is Saturday, August 27th. All proceeds benefit the Jimmy Fund. For more information, call the Jimmy Fund at 617-632-3300. That was a hit the last time they had it. Who hasn't, if they grew up a baseball fan in New England, thought about what it would be like to stand there at home plate and take a couple of swings, try to put a dent in the monster, even hit one over it.
Never know how much that thing looms over you until you actually stand there and see it.
Hasselman with the bouncer to short. Valentin threw it into the dugout. Oh, and he's going to hear about that from Marie on the ride home tonight. She said occasionally, when she visited with us earlier, she said that occasionally she gets on John for his errors. Well, they're going to have a little chat when this game's over. That's error number 7 for the Red Sox shortstop.
This obviously just slipped out of his hand before he was ready for it to come out of there. He had a lot on it, and it sails way over Tim Nearing's head. As a matter of fact, it may have been a little bit to Tim Nearing's left.
Yes, it was.
All the way in the air in the Red Sox dugout. Yeah, he doesn't know why it happened.
The first Red Sox error of the game for that long string of nearly flawless play in the field. The Red Sox defense has started to unravel of late, something that the pitching staff, which has been shaky at best lately, could not afford.
61st error on the year for Butch Hobson's Red Sox. They have given up 38 earned run runs. Actually, they've done a pretty good job of covering up a number of those errors.
Alex Rodriguez in his second major league plate appearance. He swung at his first pitch as a major league player and bounced out to Cooper at third in the third. Trying to sacrifice. He bunts it foul. And it's 0-2 on Rodriguez.
I'm talking about Pinella's desire to get Rodriguez up here. I think it's kind of a good thing that they bring him to the major leagues. If they were going to bring him, as you mentioned in our opening, it was probably going to be another 2 or 3 weeks. He was going to be here anyway. They get him up here while the club is on the road. He doesn't have to go through the pressure of playing in front of a hometown crowd his first time out. He'll get a couple of games under his belt here. Then they have 3 days off during the All-Star break to kind of think about it and settle in. It may help him become a little more relaxed and feel that he belongs here. He was hitting combined .318 at the minor league level this year.
He started at Single-A in the Midwest League at Appleton, then moved up to Double-A Jacksonville. Was recalled from Jacksonville yesterday. In shallow center, Tinsley to catch. And Rodriguez did not get the job done as he attempted to sacrifice, and then couldn't advance Hasselman in any other manner as he's out on the fly ball to center. The last 18-year-old prior to Rodriguez to play in the majors was Jose Rio, the pitcher, who debuted with the New York Yankees in 1984. So he's the youngest player to come into the majors in 10 years. Rio was younger by about a month when he made his major league debut 10 years ago than Rodriguez is right now at 10 years, 11 months, and 10 days old. A couple of weeks shy of his 19th birthday. Top of the order, Brian Turang. 0 for 2. Tried to bunt his way on last time. Scott Cooper made a nice barehanded play, and then Tim Nearing, a fine play at the other end to dig out a low throw. Foul ball off to the right. We mentioned that Mo Vaughn was snubbed in the All-Star selections, but he's going to be recognized here in Boston on Monday, as Mayor Thomas Menino has declared July 11th, this coming Monday, Mo Vaughn Day in the city of Boston. Turang up the middle. Fletcher throws him out. Hasselman the third on the play. Mo Vaughn is going to be honored by the mayor in a ceremony on Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning on the Boston Commons softball field. Mayor Menino is honoring Mo for his dedication to Boston's community, for all the tremendous work that he has done, giving his time to many programs that the Red Sox sponsor and implement as they reach out into the community. Joining Mayor Menino in the ceremony on Monday, Red Sox great Johnny Pesky, who has watched Vaughn come up through the system. Representatives of the Boys and Girls Club, for whom Mo has done a lot of work. The Wang Center, where Mo took a large group of youngsters last winter to see the Nutcracker. Principal of the Charles Taylor School be on hand. Many of the students from her school, Dr. Cheryl Fonts. Charles Taylor School is Mo's adopted school, and the Red Sox adopt the school program. For me, a hit. And another run for Seattle. He slapped a single over the head of Tim Nearing and into right field. Hasselman in from third, so the error is costly. It leads to an unearned run, and the Mariners lead 2-0.
Number 24.
Fermin has absolutely been skying against left-hand pitching. He's part of that good success that the Mariners have enjoyed. He's well over 430 now with his second hit of the night. This one driving in the second run of the game for the Mariners. RBI number 25 for the Seattle second baseman. Third toughest in the American League to strike out.
And again, the rumbles down below as Ken Griffey Jr. stands in. Hasn't disappointed his adoring public tonight. A single to left and a triple off the fence in left center, just to the left field side of straightaway center, the 379 mark. The triple drove in a run. Those who might be wondering, Monty alluded to Felix Fermin as the third toughest man to strike out in the American League. The only tougher hitters to strike out, Don Mattingly and Lance Johnson. Off the glove of Nabholz, and he didn't get it there in time. So Griffey's on for the third time. They'll likely score that a hit. Wasn't hit very sharply, but it handcuffed Nabholz. It is a hit, and Griffey is 3 for 3.
Yeah, they throw grenades harder than this ball was hit. Nabholz really gets it in on the hands of Griffey. He can't do anything about getting it out. Just kind of strong arms it out of there off the tip of the glove. Tall left-hander now back to try to make a play on Griffey, and actually does a pretty good job of getting to that ball and unloading it. But Griffey will have the hit, his third of the game. He's the home run shot. Well, no, he's a double and a home run shot. I'm sorry, of the cycle. Both of which are strong in his categories.
Martinez took a breaking ball that went around the outside of the plate. Edgar has walked and struck out. 2-0 Seattle. They're now out hitting the Red Sox 6-3. Each team has made one error. The Red Sox error here in the fifth costly. Bounce to short. Valentin to Fletcher to end the inning. Mariners strand 2. They've left 5 men on, but halfway through the ball game, Chris Nabholz and the Red Sox trail Seattle 2-0. Astounding it becomes. How big is the world's largest baseball? Do we know?
I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue. I would have to think. I don't know.
Ball hasn't appeared to be very big to the Red Sox tonight. They've had a tough time hitting it. 3 hits off Fleming as they come up in the 5th inning. All the Red Sox hit singles. Lee Tinsley bounced back to the mound in the 2nd, trying to bunt his way on and fouled the first pitch away. 2-0 Seattle. Mariners with single runs in the 3rd and 5th. The run in the 5th unearned. Charged to Nabholz, who's pitched pretty well in his 2nd Red Sox outing. I think it's terrific that Mayor Menino is recognizing Mo Vaughn in that way. I heard the mayor on the radio today with Eddie Edelman talking about the fact that he might not have made the All-Star team, but he's an All-Star to a lot of people here in Boston for what Mo has done on and off the field.
Yeah, he really is, Sean. He possibly is the most popular Red Sox player now, even on top of Roger Clemens.
Oh, I think he is.
Effort.
I think he clearly is.
Yeah, he's recognized easily wherever he goes.
Once again, that ceremony honoring Mo is on the Boston Common softball field Monday morning at 10 a.m. Mo Vaughn Day in the city of Boston. Red Sox public address announcer Leslie Sterling is going to be the master of ceremonies. Sinking fast in right, and a hit for Tinsley. He thought about second momentarily. Good effort by Keith Mitchell. He went into the dive but couldn't come up with it. And the Red Sox keep their string alive. They've had the lead man on in every inning.
Good thing that Fleming works well from the stretch, because that's where he's worked this entire ball game tonight. Good effort by Keith Mitchell. He'll come up just that much short. Looked like he had his glove out in the right spot, and the ball just goes off the tip of the fingers. And with that sliding effort, he kept the ball in front of him, and Tinsley winds up with just a single.
Scott Fletcher Fouled the first pitch away to the right. He's 2 for 2. A couple of singles to center. And the Red Sox kind of shooting holes in that adage about how tough it is for the pitcher if the lead man gets on. The likelihood of the opponent scoring against the pitcher.
And there hasn't been a double play behind Fleming either. Sometimes that can certainly make a big difference, but that has not been the case tonight. He doesn't throw particularly hard. Red Sox have just been swinging a lot of pitches out of the strike zone. Most of them have been too high.
And that one's too low. And it's a ball and a strike.
It's a good opportunity here for Fletcher, who is a bad handler, to take the chance of running that ball through on the right side as Blowers holds Tinsley on over at first. Fleming's not the kind of guy who can stand back there and just throw it by you. He only throws it about 83, 84 miles an hour, once in a while up to 85. Certainly not overpowering.
He goes to first to keep an eye on the former Seattle Mariner Tinsley. Lee's a perfect 8 for 8 in stolen bases, including the 2 that he had last night.
Scott Fletcher had been perfect until he was caught stealing early in this ball game. He had been 5 for 5. I've noticed the slide step used by Fleming there after throwing over to hold on to Tinsley. Notice the difference in delivery here. No leg kick, just kind of goes straight forward with that leg. It's usually move that right-handers use to quicken their move to the plate. You see more and more left-handers, though, coming up with it.
To short. Fermin, low throw, out. Blowers able to handle the bouncing throw with the backhand. Tinsley went hard into the second baseman Fermin, but they were still able to turn it. 6-4-3, Rodriguez, Fermin, and Blowers.
So now the double play does get into the picture here, and Fermin will unload this one quickly. Low throw, low and outside, but Mike Blowers to the right field side of the bag, stretched out to take the low throw from Felix, and the Mariners complete the double play. Their 73rd of the year. Blowers been over there now in 14 games. I don't know how many times he started over there, but he's been either a starter or in parts of 14 games as a first baseman. Sean, as you mentioned earlier, he's primarily a third baseman who's played some in the outfield and now over at the other corner. Tino Martinez does most of the playing over at first base for the Mariners, but with the left-hander starting for the Red Sox tonight, he gets the night off.
Two balls and a strike on Naring. 2 outs and the bases now empty in the Boston fifth. Seattle leads 2-0. The Mariners are out hitting the Red Sox 6-4. Each team has made an error. In the hole, Rodriguez. Looked like he was ready for the majors on that play. Went into the hole, set himself, and had a strong throw to first. A one-hopper, again handled well by Blowers, and that ends the inning. After 5 at Fenway, still 2-0 Seattle.
Fans, we invite you to visit the Boston Red Sox clubhouse shop at the North Shore Mall in Peabody tomorrow afternoon. Actually, tomorrow evening from 6 to 8 p.m. and meet Red Sox coach and former player Mike Easler. Mike will be available to autograph copies of his video on hitting and other items. For more information, call the Red Sox clubhouse shop at 508-538-0345, and we'll see you at the North Shore Mall.
And you'll meet one of the truly nice men in the game. Very jovial guy is Mike Easler. There's nothing wrong with your set, folks. The tube is not going. It is getting quite foggy here. TV doesn't really do it justice. Not quite like it was in Cleveland several years ago when the Red Sox won a game that was ended because the fog came rolling in off Lake Erie, prompting Oil Can Boyd to issue his famous quote, "That's what happens when you build a ballpark right on the ocean." Mike Blowers was flied to right and bounced to third. Facing Chris Nabholz. Nabholz couldn't get it, and Blowers has a hit. He just came off a nice half inning in the field. And he has a single to center opening the 6th.
Number 17.
Got an interesting question last night, Sean, from one of our guests, one of TV 38's guests at a VIP night here for some of our advertisers. Lady asked me about Mike Eastler and why he always wore a batting helmet, or why he wears a batting helmet all the time. John, we just had a Mike. He didn't have any kind of hat on, but so I asked him today. Once again, he's without the hat. He says, I am working with hitters so much out in the cage and center field and behind the screen before the game where he flips balls, and he's so close to them. He says, I wear the helmet for protection. He said, I perspire quite a bit, and I ruin regular wool hats that we wear. He said, so I just wear the hard hat all the time. It's become like a part of me. So I hope our questioner is listening tonight. I told her I would find out for her today.
Now he's
got
putting
the
a
soft
hat on.
Yeah.
Right on cue. Probably not sweating tonight. It's a comfortable evening here at the ballpark. I would have guessed it's because he wanted to have that sort of bond with the hitters, because he is so actively involved in every at-bat that a Red Sox hitter has.
I told the lady who asked me the question, I said, I don't know why, but I said it probably makes him feel hitterish.
I don't blame him for wearing the helmet during that flip where the hitters drive a ball into the screen as the batting coaches toss it to them, because there have been batting coaches hurt by errant balls. That was really a dangerous practice. Matter of fact, I saw Dwight Evans a couple of weeks ago when I was doing a game for ESPN. The Rockies were playing in Atlanta. Dwight Evans is now the batting coach for Colorado, and he had a big welt over his eye and said that he got hit during flip. The ball hit actually the side of the net and then hit him. Luckily, it wasn't a direct hit. Two and one the count on Keith Mitchell. Ricky Trilicek is warming up in the Red Sox bullpen. Top of the 6th inning, 2-0 Seattle. To hit 7-4 in favor of the Mariners.
When Nabholz came over here from Cleveland, Butch Hobson told me that they felt he was about a 90 to 95 pitcher. That's what they wanted from him. Obviously, that information passed along to Hobson from the general manager, former general manager of the Montreal Expos, Dan Duquette, and he's just about reached that number now. His next pitch will be number 87. So Hobson kind of going along with the information he was given. Trilicek is losing.
Chris arrived all in a hurry when he was traded. Actually was on a rehab stint down in Charlotte with the Indians AAA team. Had to scurry to get to Boston, and many of his belongings still in Cleveland. Said at the time he wished he had another day or two to settle in. So now he's had some time between starts, and he's pitched much better tonight than he did over the weekend in his Red Sox debut. The other pitcher who came to the Red Sox, Steve Farr, in that deal from Cleveland. Pitches ball 4. Mitchell walks first and second, and nobody out for Seattle. Farr is eligible to come off the disabled list on Sunday. I spoke with Dan Duquette before the game tonight. He said he probably would be activated then, and the Red Sox will have to send another pitcher back to Pawtucket.
Steve Farr threw this afternoon for about 15 minutes here, and looked like he was throwing well enough for them to activate him. As a matter of fact, Hobson said they probably would activate him on Sunday when he is eligible.
Mark Newfield is the next hitter coming up. The fog continues to roll in. While we have a moment, we want to send along happy birthday wishes to Larry Tozy, celebrating his 91st birthday in Rye Beach, New Hampshire tonight. Saw his relatives at the park last night. Asked us to pass along a hello. And happy birthday to Mr. Tozy. Tell us he agonizes over every pitch of every game. Great Red Sox fan for a long time. Mark Newfield singled to left in the 2nd, popped out to the second baseman in the 4th. No thought of a sacrifice bunt with the bottom part of the order coming up for Lou Piniella. The Mariners already leading 2-0. Trying to make it a more comfortable advantage for themselves as they bat in the 6th inning. Much of Chris Nabholz's action with Cleveland at the beginning of the year was out of the bullpen. He was the #5 starter. John Valentin with the unassisted triple play, the first triple play turned by the Red Sox since 1979. With the runners going, Newfield the line drive to short. Valentin stepped on the bag and then applied the tag for outs 2 and 3.
Pinella with a hit and run working the liner right to Valentin. That's 1 out. 2 out as he doubles off the runner, and the tag there. Mitchell, the unassisted triple play, the second AAA turn in the American League this year, and the only 2 triple plays in the majors this year, this being the second. Kind of tagged that guy casually, didn't it?
Well, he did, and I think that's one of the reasons why the fans who weren't paying attention didn't realize that there were no outs when that ball was hit. Reacted so half-heartedly. I think it's still spreading around the park. Some of the folks telling others, hey, that was a triple play we just saw. And John gets a big hand as he steps in. Many of the fans on their feet. First triple play for the Red Sox since 1979. And first unassisted triple play in the majors since Mickey Morandini of the Phillies did it in September of 1992. We'll pass along some more facts about triple plays. Dick Bresciani now just making some of the announcements to the media. Of course, on July 17th of 1990 here at Fenway Park, the Red Sox became the first major league team to hit into 2 triple plays in the same game. Matter of fact, it's the only game in Major League history to have 2 triple plays. It's a very rare play. Three and 1 the count on Valentin. Back in 1979, when the Red Sox last turned a triple play, they actually had 3 that season, which tied a major league record. The third triple play of that year and the most recent, for the one turned by Valentin tonight, was at Texas. July 28th of 1979. Al Oliver was the batter. Runners at first and third. He had a pop-up in short right. It was caught by the second baseman Jack Brohammer. He threw to the first baseman Bob Watson, and then over to the third baseman Butch Hobson to complete the triple play. It's the 9th unassisted triple play in Major League history. I mentioned the first since 1992 with Mickey Morandini of the Phillies. Second unassisted triple play in Red Sox history, the other by George Burns, a first baseman, September 14th of 1923 against Cleveland here. Do you remember that play?
No, I remember the Brohammer, Watson, and Hobson one, though.
And now trying to follow up the unassisted triple play with a home run. It's just over the wall. And into the screen for John Valentin. Well, have yourself an inning, Mr. Valentin. Unassisted triple play in the top of the inning, then a home run to get the Red Sox on the board and cut the Seattle lead at 2-1 in the bottom of the inning. Home run number 6 for John Valentin, and Luis Labau of Lowell is the winner in the Pepsi home run sweepstakes.
Valentin knew he hit it hard enough. It was just a question of whether it was going to be high enough. This ball may skim the top of the wall as it gets into that net. Valentin, no doubt he nailed it. And into the screen it goes for the home run, his 6th of the year.
Fans want him to come back out. He came up one step and waved.
I bet you those other 9 guys didn't do that.
No, I mean, that's quite an inning. Unassisted triple play. Then as the leadoff batter, only minutes later, He ripped one just over the top of the wall and left. Hit the top of the wall, bounced up into the screen. Andre Dawson, the batter. 2-0 the count. So the Red Sox have had the first man on in every inning, all 6 of them, and finally they get a run across. Valentin had to take care of that himself. Well, does that get Louise a case of Ace, a Pepsi?
Absolutely.
I would think so.
Absolutely.
Big swing. Dawson trying to follow the Valentin home run with one of his own. We're going to have Marie Valentin up here more often. First time Marie has graced the airwaves of TV 38 when she visited with us earlier to talk about the Red Sox Wise Food Drive. And what a night her husband has had. I guess she'll let the error drop now. She said she usually gives him a hard time about the errors. I have a feeling that won't come up.
Never be mentioned.
On the ride home tonight for the Valentins. Well, good for him. He's having a terrific season. And it's just more evidence of why, no matter how the season is going, it's always a good idea to come out to the ballpark when you have a chance. You never know what you might see. It's the first unassisted triple play, by the way, in the American League since Ron Hansen of the Washington Senators did it in 1968. Another ball to the wall and about 2/3 of the way up. Dawson in the second with a stand-up double. And the tying run is at second with nobody out in the 6th inning for the Red Sox.
Andre Dawson with a timely hit of his own following the home run. Nobody out. He'll double it off the left field wall. Line up in scoring position representing the tying run. Hawk couldn't get that one high enough. He has his 17th two-base hit of the year and career extra base hit number 1011.
Sammy Ellis, the pitching coach, goes out and he make the pitching change. And he will summon Bill Risley. Let it work for you.
And that call went out to Bill Risley. He is 6-4 on the year. Those 6 wins represent the most wins by a rookie in the American League thus far this year. He's awfully tough on right-handers. They've hit him at just a 167 clip, and the league has hit just 190 against him. He throws hard.
Lots of decisions for a reliever. Let's check the Baybank scoreboard. Lots going on here in the 6th inning. But the scoreboard now underway. Paul O'Neill has homered. Melito Perez with relief help from Steve Howe and Bob Wickman shutting out the Angels at 2-0. Now in the 9th inning at Yankee Stadium. Baltimore is pounding Oakland. The Athletics on their way to the end of their winning streak, which will end at 5 games. Chris Hoyle's a 3-run homer. Bobby Witt's shutout string ended in that game. Rain delay in Detroit with the Tigers leading 7-3 in the 7th. Junior Felix and Cecil Fielder home runs, number 20 for Fielder. Kansas City and Toronto are in the bottom of the 7th at Skydome. 4-3 Royals. Bob Hamlin 2 home runs in that game. We'll check more scores during the inning. Tying run is at second. Andre Dawson there after a double on the heels of a home run by Valentin. 2-1 Seattle. 7-6 the hits for Seattle. Each team has made an error. Bernansky's 0 for 1. Risley induces a swing and a miss. Bruno walked in the second, reached on an error by the third baseman Martinez in the 4th.
Fresh for memory on that graphic just a moment ago. 43 strikeouts in 32 1/3 innings for Risley. He can bring it.
Brings that high. I started to say as Dawson was swinging, the unassisted triple play turned by Valentin in the top of this inning. The first in the American League since Washington's Ron Hansen did it July 29th of 1968. Plenty on that inside part of the plate as Bernansky disappointed about the call. Let's pause for station identification. This is the TV 38 Red Sox Network.
This is WSBK TV 38 Boston.
Sean McDonough with Bob Montgomery, our producer director John Wilson at Fenway Park. Game 2 of a 4-game series between the Red Sox and the Mariners. It's been a memorable night. highlighted by an unassisted triple play for John Valentin. Brunansky sends it back just below us. And Valentin followed the unassisted triple play in the top of this inning with a home run leading off the inning. Got the Red Sox on the board. Then Dawson doubled and Fleming was knocked out of the game after 5 innings plus 2 batters in the 6th. Fleming gave up 6 hits and 1 run. He's responsible for Dawson. He walked 2 and fanned 4. Brunansky to deep left, hooking toward the pole. It is a home run. Six home runs in 19 games with the Red Sox this season for Brunansky. A 2-run clout, and it gives the Red Sox a 3-2 lead. And makes a winner of Brian Underwood of Boston in the TV 38 Pepsi home run sweepstakes.
Tom, that's what you call turning around a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, and that's exactly what Brunansky did. Came in there at 94 and had to leave there at 100 plus as it settles into the screen, and the Red Sox lead by a point.
Chamberlain trying to add to the extra base hit parade. A homer, a double, and a homer for 3 batters for the Red Sox here in the 6th. Hits now even at 7 apiece. Breaking ball. Oh, 0-2 on Chamberlain. He might have seen Risley before. Risley spent the last 2 seasons in the Montreal organization. Pitched briefly for the Expos in '92 and '93. Whoa. High heat, and Chamberlain is the first out of the inning. Second time Wes has fanned tonight. He's now 1 for 3.
Playing third base, Scott Cooper.
A memorable inning for the Red Sox. The triple play in the field in the 6th, and then a couple of home runs in the bottom of the inning. The only question about this one was, would it stay fair? It was just inside the pole. Another home run for Bruno. And the Red Sox lead for the first time tonight, 3-2. Scott Cooper is at the plate. He fouled the first pitch away. Cooper's 0 for 2.
I'm going to tell when Brunansky or any other hitter is really hot. We don't normally see Brunansky hit pitches up in that area in that fashion where he gets the head of the bat out that quick. You throw it down a little bit, about thigh high, top of the knees. Yeah, he'll get the bat on it and drive it like that. Brunansky, since, as you mentioned, John, since coming over from Milwaukee, has just been on a round trip or tear. You can't hit a baseball much harder than that one. That would have got another windshield if that net hadn't been there. Or maybe a window and a windshield.
Maybe the ball carries better in the fog. I don't know if there have been any studies.
That ball needed no assist.
No. Cooper, slow roller to second. Let's check more scores for you on the Baybank scoreboard. Chicago is at Milwaukee tonight. Julio Franco is at a home run, his 14th. Matt Mieske is homered for the Brewers. And Chicago has a 6-2 lead in the 5th inning behind Jason Beret. Cleveland got 4 runs in the 6th to make a game of it at Minnesota. Shane Mack is at a grand slam in that ball game. Over in the National League this afternoon, Chicago on a home run by Mark Grace in the 11th beat Houston 6-5. Rich Rowland is at bat. Colorado and Florida playing tonight. Marlins have a 1-run lead. Gary Sheffield, Jeff Conine have homered. Cincinnati got 8 runs in the 3rd inning. Now lead Pittsburgh 9-4. Thomas Howard and Eddie Taubensee of homer for the Reds. A ball low. St. Louis leads Atlanta 2-0 behind Bob Tewksbury. He's out dueling Greg Maddux. What an appealing pitching matchup. Montreal is at San Diego, just underway. New York is at Los Angeles, and Philadelphia is at San Francisco. That's tonight's Baybank scoreboard update. St. Louis behind Tewksbury, trying to end a 5-game losing streak. Rowland in the driver's seat at 3-0. Red Sox lead here 3-2 in the 6th. The game delayed by rain for an hour and 3 minutes at the start, but for the sellout crowd on hand, it was worth the wait. 3 balls and a strike. Grizzly was claimed on waivers by Seattle from Montreal during spring training. Started his career in the Cincinnati Reds organization. Was a 14th round draft pick of the Reds back in June of '87. Rowland trying to make it 3 home runs in the inning. High and deep to left and gone. Number 5 for Rich Rowland. 3rd Red Sox home run here in the 6th inning. And Frank Johnson of Fitchburg is the winner in the TV 38 Pepsi home run sweepstakes.
Rich Rowland gets a 3-1 pitch and puts it right on a tee. That ball just about knee high, maybe a little bit lower than that, and high up into the screen she goes in left field. Grizzly now has given up 6 home runs on the year in those 32 and a third innings that I mentioned. You mentioned 6 wins, a lot for a reliever, and that's all Risley has done. He's 6-4, also has 6 losses. 4 losses.
Lou Piniella doesn't seem particularly pleased at the moment. Tough to blame him. I don't think I'd want to be the pitching coach if the manager's going to kind of get agitated with you when the pitcher gives up a couple of home run balls. You saw Goose Gossage warming up. Lee Tinsley takes a breaking ball high. 2 balls and a strike on Tinsley, who singled right in his last at bat. He's 1 for 2. Grizzlies had kind of an interesting career. Made his major league debut in 1992 for Montreal. When that season was over, he had 1 day of major league service and 1 major league win. Was only up for 1 day for Montreal in '92. Made his debut in July against Los Angeles. Beat them. Went right back to the minors. You may recall that the Expos in July of 1992 had to play 3 doubleheaders in a row at Los Angeles. And Risley was activated before the second game of the last doubleheader on July 8th. Started, beat Pedro Estacio, and went back to the minors. He had an incredible 1-day odyssey, really. Set some sort of unofficial record for longest distance traveled in 1 day to get his first major league win in the shortest time on the roster. He woke up that morning in Buffalo. He was with the AAA Indianapolis club. Flew to Los Angeles, 2,200 miles. Reported at Dodger Stadium in time for the second game of that doubleheader. Was activated just before game time. Pitched 5 innings. Won the game 4-1. Left the ballpark. Went back to the airport. Flew back to Indianapolis that night. A trip of 1,800 miles. So in 1 day, he had a win, no losses. Spent 3 hours and 6 minutes in the majors. Flew 4,000 miles. 6 time zone changes. 4 taxis, which they estimated cost him $85 plus tips. Quite a day for Risley. That was a day he'll never forget. He just had an inning he'd like to forget. He came in and gave up 2 of the 3 home runs hit by the Red Sox in the inning. A memorable inning for the Red Sox, particularly John Valentin. The triple play unassisted for Valentin at the top of the inning, then his home run ignited a 4-run rally. 3 home runs in the inning for Valentin, Brunansky, and Rowland, and the Red Sox now lead 4-2.
Can you name the 2 players?
Three dealers. Seattle took a 1-0 lead in the 3rd on an RBI triple by Ken Griffey Jr. They scored an unearned run in the 5th to make it 2-0. And John Valentin atoned for the error that led to the unearned run with an unassisted triple play. And then in the bottom of the inning, 3 home runs. Valentin started it leading off the inning. Brunansky had a 2-run homer to give the Red Sox the lead. Rich Rowland added a solo shot, and it's 4-2 Red Sox. And Chris Nabholz has a chance to pick up his first Red Sox win and his first American League win. He's facing Bill Hasselman, who reached on the Valentin throwing error and scored the unearned run in the 5th. He's 0 for 2, bounced into a 5-4-3 double play in the 2nd. Hasselman, Rodriguez, and Terang, batters 8, 9, and 1, due up against Nabholz, who appeared to be close to being removed last inning by Butch Hobson when the first 2 men reached. Hobson, after a conference of the mound, left him in, and Newfield hit a line drive with the runners going. Chris Howard and Ricky Trilicek in the bullpen. Breaking ball from Nabholz missed. To right field and pretty well hit. Chamberlain doing a spin, made the catch and hit the wall. 1 out in the 7th. Hasselman hit a long way to the opposite field. And one thing we learned about Wes is he doesn't inspire much confidence on the part of the Red Sox fans as he goes after a lot of fly balls, but he catches them.
His initial turn was the wrong way and then had to make up for that. And what's usually, if you see outfielders get into that backpedaling mode, they're in a bit of trouble, but Wes recovered and made the catch. And John, you're right, that ball was hit really a long way by Hasselman. Opposite field shot.
Now Alex Rodriguez. Well, he's going to remember his major league debut for a number of reasons, including the unassisted triple play. Ground ball to short, and Valentin throws him out. Rodriguez, the 18-year-old, 0 for 3 in his debut. Far cry from the major league debut of Red Sox manager Butch Hobson. Butch made his first appearance in the major leagues June 28th of 1976.
Number 1.
Talk about rare plays. Butch highlighted his major league debut with an inside the park home run. He also had a double off the center field wall as the Red Sox beat the Baltimore Orioles on that day in 1976, 12-8. Brian Terang with a high fly in left center. Brunansky makes the catch, and Nabholz works a 1-2-3 inning. 7th inning stretch. The Red Sox lead by 2.
For the Red Sox.
7th inning stretch. The Red Sox lead 4-2. And talking about the unassisted triple plays, the unassisted triple play by Valentin, just the 3rd in the major league since 1927. You mentioned it's the 9th unassisted triple play in major league history. Most of those were a long time ago. You mentioned the last American League unassisted triple play, Ron Hansen of Washington at Cleveland, July of 1968. Mickey Morandini, last major leaguer to do it prior to tonight, for Philadelphia at Pittsburgh, September 20th of 1992. There's an unassisted triple play by Bill Wamsgans in 1920 in the World Series. So the folks who came here tonight saw something that very few have seen in the long history of this great game. Scott Fletcher 2 for 3, a couple of singles, and last time up he bounced into a double play. Facing reliever Bill Risley, 27-year-old from Chicago. Fletcher a fly ball. Terang started back, now a long way in to make the catch, about belt high.
Well, Sean, my guess is about 33,000 that will have actually seen that triple play or was in the ballpark here. I'm guessing at the attendance tonight. About 4 years from now, there'll be probably 48,000. So
it seemed like it took a while for
I
it
think
to sink in.
I'm going to be honest with you. As casual as he was running toward the dugout, I thought I'd forgotten how that there
Well,
were
I
no
looked out
outs.
at my scorecard before I said it because it just happened so nonchalantly.
And then I thought perhaps he was going to come over to first and just touch the bag. But then when I saw him toss the ball to the middle of that, I said, wait a minute. We have just seen an unassisted triple play.
Tim Naring, 0 for 3 tonight. Red Sox lead 4-2 in the 7th inning. We mentioned earlier the Red Sox Wives food drive that's going to take place here over the weekend. In just a moment, we're going to give you an address and phone number for the Greater Boston Food Bank. Give you a moment to grab a piece of paper and a writing implement. If you're not coming out here but would like to help feed the hungry of Eastern Mass. Oh, Tim. We'll have to check with them on the scoring on that play as well tomorrow. Here's the address. It's 99 Addison Street here in Boston, 02118, and the telephone number is 617-427-5200. That's the Greater Boston Food Bank. If you'd like information, would like to help out in some way, even if you're not coming out to the ball game the next 2 nights, the Red Sox Wives and the Greater Boston Food Bank would be grateful for the help. Griffey Jr. the catch. 2 down in the 7th. And the hand is for John Valentin.
Number 13, the shortstop, John Valentin.
The unassisted triple play in the top of the 6th. Then he led off the bottom of the inning with a home run. They got the Red Sox off and running for the 4-run 6 that has given them a 4-2 lead. 2 of the runs charged to Fleming, the other 2 to Risley. Risley and Nabholz are the pitchers of record. Fleming worked 5 innings plus 2 batters in the 6th. He gave up 2 runs on 6 hits, walked 2, struck out 4 through 95 pitches, 55 of them strikes. That pop-up will be in the stands. Through the fog and just over the wall. A ball and a strike on Valentin. Breaking ball up and in. Check swing, no swing, says Ed Hickox, and it's 3 balls and a strike.
Valentin turned a Randy Johnson pitch around last night quickly, got it off the wall. He's got another hard thrower here, the 3-1 count. Just kind of get your mind set, kind of tee it up just a little bit here. Look for the cookie on 3-1 and go to whittling on it. Went to the breaking ball.
Grizzly, a native of Chicago, went to Marist High School in Chicago. Now makes his home in Farmington, New Mexico. He was a pitcher and a catcher in high school. Pitched 2 no-hitters and 8 one-hitters from Marist High School and won the league batting championship. Valentin with a base hit. adding to an already great night.
He's the front runner right now for our Budweiser player of the game. Looks
He
like
is.
a breaking ball here, kind of a hanging. John hangs it out to left field on a line.
Andre Dawson.
I might have to go down and get him and see if I can get him to sign my scorecard on Sunday after the night he's had tonight.
This is one to save.
Yeah.
He might want to keep the scorecard.
I'll make him a copy.
Earlier in the year, I gave Scott Cooper the scorecard in the game in Kansas City in which he hit for the cycle. Andre Dawson doubled right after the Valentin home run and scored on the home run by Brunansky last inning. Andre's 1 for 3. Pops it up very high. Hasselman the catch, and that ends the inning. The Red Sox strand a runner. On to the 8th. 4-2 Red Sox. Communication's a whole lot simpler. And by Citgo, where you can feel the pride.
Number 10, second baseman, Felix Jeremy.
Red Sox lead 4-2. And they scored 4 runs on 3 home runs in the 6th after a triple play turned by John Valentin at the top of the inning. Pitch number 100 of the night from Chris Nabholz is a breaking ball that missed to Felix Fermin. Fermin has been on base 3 times tonight, a walk and 2 singles. He scored a run. That was the first Seattle run, and he drove in the other. 2-0. Fermin, Griffey, and Martinez coming up. Lead of the order, batters 2, 3, and 4. Red Sox have action in the bullpen again. Chris Howard is warming up, as is Corey Bailey.
Could be the last batter of the game regardless for the tall left-hander, and certainly if he loses Fermin.
Valentin. Oh my goodness. Will you make him the player of the game now?
Oh yeah.
Are you convinced?
He's got it. Only you watch this play of beauty.
Number 24, center field,
We'll have to find out what Marie Valentin is doing on Sunday when we have our next telecast on TV 38. And obviously her presence here tonight inspired great things for her husband.
Outstanding play by the Red Sox shortstop there. So important that you keep Fermin off, because this guy now only represents a run, not a tying run.
And probably kept Nabholz in the game.
Yes, I don't think there's much question about that. Anytime this guy, I should say not anytime, most of the time when this guy has something to do with the effect of the game, he gets it done. You don't want him representing the tying run on an arm that's thrown over 100 pitches, and it's usually most effective at around the 90-95 pitch mark. Mentioned earlier the success that Griffey's had against left-hand pitching this year. He's hit .302 with 14 of his 33 home runs off left-handers.
Big swing, but a looping fly ball. Tinsley got a, rather Chamberlain got a late start, so it's Fletcher with the over-the-shoulder catch. Just a lazy pop-up in shallow right center, but the big swing fooled Tinsley and Chamberlain. And Fletcher made a nice play, and all of a sudden Nabholz has retired 6 in a row, a streak that began with the triple play.
Edgar Martinez.
Scott Fletcher, the ever-hustling Scott Fletcher, doesn't take anything for granted. He doesn't know exactly where Chamberlain is or whether Chamberlain got a bad break on the ball. Scott is just out shagging, makes that play, makes the catch over the shoulder. So the middle infielders tonight have had an excellent night for the Red Sox, offensively and defensively.
Edgar Martinez 0 for 2 with the first inning walk. One ball, 1 strike. play in right. Yankees beat California tonight 4-3. And Baltimore is pounding Oakland 13-1, so the Yankees will remain a game and a half ahead of the Orioles. And the Red Sox will need to win to remain 9.5 behind the first place Yankees. The 1-2. Well, there are 33,355 folks who will be able to say that they were on hand when the 9th unassisted triple play in Major League Baseball history was pulled off by John Valentin. 33,355 the attendance here tonight.
But if they were honest, 33,000 of them would have to tell you they didn't know it was a triple play.
Yeah, there was not a big fan reaction. Really not even a big reaction here in the booth, as we called it, because it happened so quickly. It is such a rarity. Caught everybody off guard. And the other part of it, as we said, was that it was done so casually by Valentin. Tinsley has room and makes the catch in front of the warning track. A 1-2-3 for Nabholz. He's now on his best streak of the ball game. He set down 7 in a row. 4-2 Red Sox. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Tonight's game is brought to you in part by Budweiser Beechwood, aged for that crisp, clean, classic taste. And by the 9X Yellow Pages. More information, more solutions, more stuff. New pitcher for the Seattle Mariners. We'll tell you about Goose Gossage after we remind you that the Ronald McDonald Children's Charities Program, Pitching It for Kids, will donate $2,000 in the name of tonight's winning pitcher to a Sporting Chance Boston's baseball camps. Baseball camps program provides athletic activities for underprivileged youth and develops leadership skills. And certainly no youth is Goose Gossage on the mound at age 43.
He was picked up by the Mariners right at the end of spring training when he was released by the Athletics. Currently 4th the all-time save list with 309. He has 2 wins and no losses this year and no saves. 23 strikeouts in 35 innings. And according to a couple of scouts who have seen the Seattle Ball Club lately, they tell me Gossage is throwing the ball pretty crisply. Once again, he'll get it up to 88. Once in a while, he'll register a 90-mile-an-hour heater.
Used to throw even harder than that.
Oh, yeah.
As you well know.
Yeah, he could get me out sitting in the bullpen and did a few times. He's one of those relievers that had the size, too, that made him intimidating just to stand in the batter's box and look at him. He has that big kicking motion, arms kind of flailing around. He doesn't give you an awful lot to look at. And as far as the ball is concerned.
Broke into the big leagues in 1972. Did Goose Gossage. He turned 43 earlier this week.
Oh, it used to be a great combination when he paired up with a guy named Terry Forster over for the Chicago White Sox. You didn't know which one of those two guys you hated to face most.
Tied up Brunansky, who fouled it back to the screen. Bruno hit a home run in his last at bat. It gave the Red Sox a 3-2 lead. A 2-run homer with Andre Dawson aboard. He was the first batter to face the reliever Bill Risley. Risley pitched 2 innings. Allowed 2 runs on 3 hits, 2 of them home runs. He had 1 strikeout. Gossage strikes out his first batter of the night. 1 out in the 8th inning. 4-2 the Red Sox lead.
The right fielder,
Ken Ryan,
Chamberlain,
who had a tough night last night, might have the chance to come into a similar situation. 2-run lead in the 9th. Came in with the Red Sox leading 3-1 in the 9th last inning and wound up losing the ball game in the 10th. Gave up 2 in the 9th, 1 in the 10th. But you didn't think Nabholz is finished, and that Ryan will come on. Wes Chamberlain singled his first time up, has struck out twice since. Well, we posed the question to you recently relative to Dennis Eckersley, Hall of Famer, yes or no. How about Goose Gossage?
I think there's an outstanding chance for Gossage, although with the numbers that are being established by Saver, he's now Smith over the 400 mark. Gossage certainly would have been one of those guys in his era that would have been the most noted. Whether he'll have enough of those or not, I don't know. Certainly he would get a lot of votes, Sean. I don't think there's any question about that.
He was on the radio with Eddie Endelman today and said that he doesn't even think about it. As far as he's concerned, that's far-fetched. But I don't think for those who followed his career, it's far-fetched.
No.
And will always be remembered by Red Sox fans as the man who was on the mound at the end of the playoff game between the Red Sox and the Yankees in 1978. Got the pop-up from Carl Yastrzemski to end the game, send the Yankees on to the American League Championship Series. Tough pitch, just missed. 2-2.
Gossage also third in the all-time rankings in relief wins with 114. Third in games with 990.
And he strikes out Chamberlain. Back-to-back strikeouts for Gossage here in the 8th inning. It's the third time that Chamberlain has whiffed tonight.
He's displaying a pretty good breaking ball in this particular outing. Drops down a little sideways there and has that bottom kind of fall out of that pitch to Chamberlain. To go along with a fastball that's back up to pretty good speed again. A pretty good breaking ball to go with it.
Scott Cooper is swinging a miss for a strike. You may be able to hear the announcement in the background. On this memorable night at Fenway Park, Dick Bresciani announced the last time the Red Sox hit 3 home runs in 1 inning was September 18th of 1984 at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto, when Dwight Evans, Tony Armas, and Mike Easler all went deep off Jim Gott. The Red Sox with 3 home runs in an inning for the first time in nearly 10 years. In the same inning that they had an unassisted triple play pulled off by John Valentin. Two and 2 on Cooper. Gossage trying to strike out the side in the 8th. So when Goose Gossage pitched in a major league game for the first time, the man who's at shortstop behind him, Alex Rodriguez, wasn't born. Matter of fact, it would be 4 more years before Rodriguez would be born. And he'll have the play behind Goose and makes it routinely. The Red Sox go in order in the 8th. We go to the 9th. The Red Sox leading by 2. We'll have it for you at 1 o'clock. Sergio Valdez starting for Roger Clemens against Chris Bosio, who is 3-10 for the Mariners. Then we are back with you here on TV 38 and many of our network stations Sunday afternoon at 1 for the series finale and the final game before the All-Star break. Joe Hesketh 4-5 against Jim Converse 0-1. That's Sunday afternoon, the Red Sox and the Mariners here on TV 38. Red Sox trying to even this series at 1 win apiece tonight and end their 3-game losing streak, and they lead 4-2 going to the 9th. And Chris Nabholz is still on the mound, and apparently he is going to try to finish what he started. Nabholz has thrown 112 pitches. He's retired the last 7. The string that began with the unassisted triple play. First pitch of the 9th fouled away by Mike Blowers.
I have to say that Nabholz is 1 batter away from being out of this game one way or the other. Kenny Ryan continues to throw, or at least he's up in the Red Sox bullpen. He's certainly ready if needed.
Well, Ryan did pitch 2 innings last night, so that would be a reason why Butch Hobson would want to stay away from him.
Well, a lot of managers, though, look at it from this side. If I get the guy up and get him ready, it's the same as him coming into a game, and I've got him there effectively, as opposed to bringing him in a game with people on base. Let him get into his own trouble if he's going to do that.
Right. And when he was warming up while the Red Sox were batting at the bottom of the 8th, It would lead one to believe ordinarily that he would be in to start the ninth, as he was last night when Aaron Seeley left when his leg cramped up on him. 2-1 on Blowers. Keith Mitchell, Mark Newfield scheduled to follow. That's ball 3.
Chris is just going to have to reach back and get a little extra here now if he's got any extra left.
Well hit. Center field. Tinsley running out of room. Forget about it. Several rows back into the bleachers and straightaway center. Nabholz, who hasn't pitched many innings this year due to the fact that he started the season in Cleveland's bullpen, then had the injury problems that had him on the sidelines for a while, is in all likelihood running on fumes now. And here comes Hobson, undoubtedly to take Nabholz back with him. And Chris is still in position to win his first Red Sox victory and his first ever in the American League. And Ken Ryan is going to come in to try to save it. And he'll come into a ball game that is 1 run tighter than it was seconds ago. Nabholz departs to a warm ovation, and well deserved. Solid workmanlike effort tonight for the 6'7" left-hander. And we'll be back in just a moment.
2-2. That second loss coming at the hands of the Mariners last night when Kenny blew only his second save opportunity in this '94 season. Earned run average jumped up just a bit too to 2.23. Kenny now working into his 33rd inning of the year. He struck out 25 batters. League hitting .262 against the Boston right-hander.
He threw a lot of pitches last night. Threw 43 pitches. And working the 2 innings. And the Red Sox want to see if he has what it takes to be a closer at the major league level. They look toward the future, and this will be a good indication how he can bounce back from the adversity of last night.
I think there's no question that you have to have a different mindset to be that closer. There's no gray area. You either get the job done or you blow the save, as Kenny Ryan did last night, and sometimes that's tough to deal with mentally.
Breaking ball missed. 2 balls and a strike on Keith Mitchell.
Sometimes you almost have to have that I don't care, I don't really get into it attitude. It's not bad to have that kind of attitude. Matter of fact, I think it's mandatory. Sparky Lyle is a guy that comes to my mind. You give him the ball in a save situation, he was the same guy if he got the job done or if he didn't get the job done. You see him the next day, you never know if you didn't read the box score.
Two balls, 2 strikes. A bullet. Great stop by Cooper. And a throw dug out by Naring, who's had 2 terrific games at first base. What a play by Cooper. That ball was smashed by Mitchell. And the play by the All-Star with the help from Naring kept the tying run off base. It's the first out of the 9th inning.
Cooper over just a bit guarding the line. He'll have to move to his left quickly to snare this on 1 hop. He'll get up. He'll throw his throw will be a bit low. Scooped up by Tim Naring. He gets out there, stretches out for the short hop. Good play on both ends of that. Outstanding play on both ends.
Mark Newfield fouled the first one away. He's the man with the line drive to short with the runners going. In the 6th inning, lined into the triple play. That was in his last at bat. Mariners have had only 1 base runner since on the home run by Blowers. Plenty of smoke on a fastball by Ryan, and Kenny's ahead of Newfield 0-2.
The Guns have been getting Kenny 94, 95 miles an hour consistently. I imagine with that pitch up a little high like that one was, it may have even registered a bit higher.
The 0-2. Well hit toward the triangle. Tinsley sprinting. Oh, what a catch! What a night for the Red Sox. Tinsley might have injured himself making the acrobatic catch. Charlie Moss and Butch Hobson sprinting out to right center field. Two tremendous defensive plays in a row by the Red Sox, but at the moment concern for Lee Tinsley. This is a great sight as he's back on his feet. Wonder if he just knocked the wind out.
Well, that's what it seemed like, Sean, the way they had picked his legs up, trying to force some air back into his lungs once again. And he certainly hit the ground hard. He was in an all-out effort in a dive to catch that smash. Boy, what leather is being thrown around in this ball game tonight.
Oh, yeah, hit so hard that knocked the wind out of himself. He's fine now, bouncing around with no problem. He was running as fast as he could go, totally outstretched, recovering a tremendous amount of ground. A great catch. And Ken Ryan hasn't exactly fooled them here in the ninth, but he's retired both batters he has faced thanks to the assistance of Cooper, Naring, and Tinsley. And Reggie Jefferson is going to bat for Bill Hasselman. Mariners down to their final out. They're certainly not going quietly here in the ninth. Flowers a tremendous home run. Well back in the bleachers and center to knock out Nabholz. And then two tremendous defensive plays for the two outs here in the ninth. And now Mike Rourke wants to go to the mound as Jefferson waits. Jefferson, as you saw, is having a fine year with the bat. He's a switch hitter, but almost all of his action this year has been from the left side. He's only had 6 at-bats right-handed. And he's 5 for 11 as a pinch hitter. Struggling so much with switch hitting with Jefferson that he abandoned batting from the right side back in May.
Tell you what he hasn't done, Sean. He has never struggled against Red Sox pitching. He has absolutely owned them throughout his career. He's 5 for 10 against them this year and 27 for 61 in his career.
That's a .443 average if I did the math quickly enough. 3 career home runs in those 61 at bats for Jefferson. After the conference between Rourke and Ryan, Ken's ready to go. Red Sox trying to nail down a memorable win. Should it go into the win column? Terrific night of entertainment. Don't put him in the win column yet. Chamberlain at the bullpen. Chamberlain and Tinsley leap, and they caught it. Oh, what a ninth inning. Wes Chamberlain robbed Jefferson of the game-tying home run and slaps high fives at everybody in the bullpen. And the Red Sox are celebrating like they won the World Series, and why not? Very few reasons to smile lately for the Red Sox and their fans, but tonight they're all wearing grins from ear to ear. What a night for the Boston Red Sox, and what a dramatic finish. The third tremendous defensive play in succession. Chamberlain had to fight Tinsley for it as well. They were both there, and Chamberlain made the catch. John Wathan right there, Red Sox bullpen coach, and Ken Ryan had them all the way. No problems at all with the Mariners in the ninth. And what a finish and what a night. Valentin the hero. I think they worked on that celebration before. And you have to think it's an important night, too, for Ken Ryan. You've been seeing his facial expressions. He needed to bounce back, and he certainly got hit hard here in the ninth inning, but it goes down as 1-2-3 and a save for Ryan. And the Red Sox get the win.
John, you never know the way they played in this ball game tonight defensively that this ball club was 3 games under 500 coming in. As you mentioned, celebrate. Why not? Third great defensive play in the top of the 9th inning. And the Red Sox come out with a 1-run win. Kenny Ryan the save.
Didn't seem pleased, and you can understand it. They hit rockets off him, 3 consecutive at bats, but he got the save. And the Red Sox get the win. What a night. 4-3 the final.